Let's start with Dave Adams, our friend here in Virginia. Dave, how are you, sir? Welcome back to Cam and Company.
I'm great, John and Cameron. I think this is the first time I've been on with both of you guys.
Well, it's good to talk to you, Dave. And Dave, I'd like you to, first of all, before we do anything else, offer your condolences to our broadcast partner, Seton Motley, who has moved from Virginia to Maryland. So I would like you to say goodbye to his gun rights, his personal freedoms, and just
say hello to the Chesapeake Bay.
Yeah, you know what?
His wallet.
You can have the Chesapeake Bay. We'll take our freedoms here. So, do you have any words of condolences for Mr. Motley?
You know, we do have the Chesapeake Bay of Virginia, too.
That's a good point. He is right about that,
It ain't
sucker.
45 minutes from D.C.
Good answer, Dave. I like it.
It ain't 45 minutes from D.C. Someone asked me, why are you moving to, why are you moving to Maryland? I said, because that's where they keep most of the Chesapeake Bay. I didn't say all. I said most. But from a proximity to D.C. standpoint, this is much more feasible.
Fair enough.
All right.
I mean, I'm not going to buy a farm out in the middle of nowhere 3 hours from here or something like that.
Who would do that?
Who would do that?
Who'd be crazy enough to do that?
All right, let's be serious here.
All right. So, Dave, in Virginia, new gun laws took effect yesterday. Lots of new laws on the 1st of July. New taxes, new laws, new intrusions by the government. What's happening in Virginia?
Well, in Virginia, we had one big piece of legislation that's good news for gun owners, Senate Bill 1335, which is concealed carry permit holder privacy, which was sponsored by Senator Mark Obenshain, who is also now running for Attorney General in Virginia. He originally put that bill in to protect folks who had an active protective order, but when it got over to the House of Delegates, it was amended to cover all permit holders, and he approved that amendment with his blessing. And so now, as of yesterday, every concealed carry permit holder can relax that their private information is no longer available to any enterprising individual, including the media, that might want to go to a clerk of court's office and get a list of every permit holder in a locality. That's the big news for Virginia gun owners. And I think that's probably the biggest win that we could have had this year, given everything that happened before the session started.
Well, and also given what happened in New York with the Journal News and other places around the country where people were publishing these lists, and in some cases it turning out to be a very bad move for some people on the list.
Yeah, and actually, you guys are probably familiar. The Roanoke Times pulled that stunt back in 2007. The Fredericksburg Freelance Star actually continued to post names, not the addresses or other identifying information like the Roanoke Times did, but they would weekly publish in their paper the list of everybody who got issued or reissued a permit in the Fredericksburg area, and that was a constant thorn in the side of a lot of gun owners because they just thought that was the way to poke their finger in the eye. And so when this bill was passed, that will stop that little practice too.
All right. What else is happening on the 1st of July in Virginia? What happened?
We had a couple of companion bills, Senate Bill 1363 and House Bill 2317, that has to do with the residency of armed forces, members of the armed forces, that they can include both the members' permanent duty post, which could be here in Virginia, as well as their state that they claim as residents. A lot of military folks like to claim Florida and Texas since they don't have state income taxes as their place of residence, and so they will be able to purchase firearms here in Virginia, even though it may be just their duty station. You had House Bill 1582, which was patroned by Delegate Mark Cole. It was kind of a security measure for religious and private schools. Armed security officers licensed by the Department of Criminal Justice Services can carry their firearms on the school property of private and religious schools that the officers hired by the school to provide protection to students and employees. Most of our public schools already have a police officer, an SRO, school resource officer, or something on the property, but that's not true for private and religious schools, and so this gives them the option of having an armed security officer, something that Wayne LaPierre talked a lot about at the beginning of the year after the Newtown situation. So that's a good bill for Virginia as well. And finally, House Bill 1833, Scott Lingenfelter, he did a complete rewrite of the concealed carry permit statute. It had been amended so many times, it was just a patchwork and really hard to navigate, and so that's a good cleanup bill. It'll be easier to understand, and that was something that was badly needed after almost 20 years of having the statute on the books.
Wow. A lot of stuff happened.
Yeah, no, it's interesting you talk about concealed carry. Because right now, Dave, we just, moments ago, we were talking about what happened in Illinois. Governor Quinn got the concealed carry bill, and he used his mandatory veto power to send it back to the House. And you talk about 20 years of patchworks. You have a state that's never had it, has never been allowed to have a concealed carry legislation there. If you were doing what you did in Illinois, what would be your next move, and what would you be telling the residents of Illinois to do when it comes to what's going on with Governor Quinn and concealed carry?
I actually just saw a little bit of that just before I went on the air, and it's amazing how he decided he wanted to become not only the state executive but the legislature too. I mean, he having to do with restaurant carry. I mean, he said that the standard should be that you can't carry unless you're specifically told you can. And the same way in businesses, instead of posting barring firearms, you have to post allowing them. That guy's a wacko. I've never. That's just amazing to me. That, and from what I've heard, the legislature's probably not going to go along with that. And the changes he made probably won't stand because the legislature has to approve most, if not all, of his changes. But it makes me thankful every day that I live in Virginia, not Illinois.
It's interesting, too, because when you read the mandatory veto itself, the last page 6, the conclusion, it says, public safety first. In closing, there are too many provisions in this bill inspired by the National Rifle Association, not the common good. Public safety should never be compromised nor negotiated away. So, pretty obvious how he feels.
And once again, he said it from Chirac.
From Chirac, right.
Well, here's what I want to know. Where's the evidence of everything that he put in there in his amendments? Where's the evidence that the things he said was going to happen have happened in the other 49 states that have concealed carry?
Yeah, I mean, literally every state surrounding the state of Illinois, and it's not like he's showing any kind of empirical evidence or saying this is going wrong here or this is bad here. He's just saying this is just inspired by the NRA, and that's how he just dismisses it out of the whole cloth there.
Virginia repealed the restaurant ban 3 years ago, and the year after the repeal took place, crime in restaurants actually went down.
There you go.
What else?
What are you going to say? Dave Adams, thank you so much, sir, for keeping us on top of things. By the way, I'm just taking a look at your VSSA Twitter feed at VSSA.
Yes.
Sign up for that one if you're not already following that.
And what's your website, Dave?
It's myvssa.org. If you're not a member of VSSA, please join us. We've got a big election in Virginia this year, and for the first time in 20 years, you've got 3 Democratic candidates actively running on gun control. So we need every gun owner active and engaged in this election this year. So join us. You can join online. It's easy. Use a credit card and join us and help us elect pro-gun governor, lieutenant governor, and attorney general this year.
Would you allow Virginia trader Seton Motley to be a member?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, good.
Lord knows he's going to need it after moving to Maryland.
Seton, so you can join VSSA.
Yes.
I know you wanted. I asked on your behalf.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. You don't have an MSSA, do you?
No. Good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck with that one.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
Bye, Dave.
Thanks, man.